Peace. Hey, y'all. Hey, Maya Keeyana here. And this is another episode of the Art Exhibit podcast. So, I'm excited to introduce this interview. I had the opportunity to talk to Amani Reid. Shouts out to Amani. I've known Amani for a while now. She started the event called Nature and Poetry that a lot of people of the Philadelphia creative and poetry and healing scenes may be familiar with. This space is one that it's lit. I'm gonna just say that. And if you don't know enough about it, then that's on you. But after you watch this interview, you have the opportunity to connect with Amani through her social media, which will be linked below. Make sure you hit her up, follow what she has going on, listen to her music. It is available on streaming platforms. And what else do we need y'all to do? We just need you to be here, be present, be part of the community, connect with the people that's sharing their resources with you. And without further ado, let me slow down, let me think, is that everything? Yeah, without further ado, let's get into this interview. And don't forget to live in love.
Hey y'all, hey! Maya Keeyana here, and this is another episode of the Art Exhibit Podcast. Today we have Queen Amani Reid.
Hi.
Hey Amani! So first, I always like to ask people to introduce themselves, let the people know who you are.
Absolutely. My name is Amani Reid. I'm 27 years old. I'm a saxophonist, a clarinetist, and I do environmental justice work. I work for the Department of Environmental Protection now. And yes, I've been in Philadelphia for 7 years. I'm from New Jersey, and I've met some amazing people out here. I'm very grateful for you and this opportunity. And yeah, that's a little bit about myself. I'm in a band as well.
Oh, look, a lot of fun
Yes.
facts. I actually forgot you were from New Jersey. I feel like a lot of people from New Jersey sit down on a podcast and Philly kind of just adopts y'all.
Yeah, it's not until people see my phone number and see 609 and they're like, oh, okay. All right.
Got you. All right, so you did give us some information on the type of art. You are a saxophonist, you are a clarinetist. The first question that pops into my mind is what got you into these instruments?
Yeah, absolutely. So in elementary school, early on, I guess like probably first, second grade, they like let us know that a music program was coming, but then third grade is when the music program came. And that's when I met my forever music teacher, Eddie Morgan. And yeah, I had an opportunity to pick an instrument. I don't know why I chose the clarinet. I actually got picked on because people compared me to Squidward. But I don't know. I was drawn to the clarinet. I was like, this is a small instrument. I know when I get home, my dad's not going to be like, what is this loud instrument? It's a little subtle. So I just ended up choosing the clarinet, I just, I fell in love. I think it wasn't early on because I think as a kid, you just have so many influences from other kids. So I'm just one of the few that really stuck to it. And I think it was a big push from my music teacher, Eddie Morgan, who I feel like he saw the potential in me before I did. He was someone that anytime I would say I can't, he would like, you can't do that. Like you should always say you can, like little things like that. So from 9 years old, I remember still to this day.
And those are like the best stages to learn it as a young child because that is when like the foundation is built. So shout out to you, Eddie Morgan.
Yes, I mean I just posted a performance last week. He's on my comments. He supports me to this day. I mean he was a big push for me to learn the saxophone. I feel like everything I'm doing he already saw from the time I was 9, 10 years old, and just kind of was my motivation to learn other instruments. The saxophone I feel like opened up the real doors for me. Not to say that a clarinet is not an amazing instrument too, but I think a lot more opportunities come with playing the sax, especially as a female, especially as a Black woman. There's not many. And so, yeah, I was in a kids jazz band and I played shows in Atlantic City. I was learning Charlie Parker. I was learning the real jazz musicians and very intimidating at first. I'm like, how can I ever play like Charlie Parker? How can I ever play like Kenny G? Like they those are the greats. But they studied and they spent so much time on their craft, and that's, those are people I look up to, and I think I'm on that path of like trying to really perfect my craft and grow, and just getting feedback from people like yourself, like getting myself out there more, having my own shows, things I never thought I would do. I never thought I would do any of this, so I'm just kind of going through the journey.
That really makes my heart smile. One, because shout out to the teachers. Like, y'all are super important. Like, if y'all don't see by that story the impact that y'all have on the children that y'all interact with every day, like, take it serious. And I know y'all do, because we got people like Eddie Morgan. Shout out to you. So yeah, teachers are very important. And then also you talked about like music, and this is something that Shania and I spoke on when she interviewed me on Philly Cam about like the resources being put into Philadelphia schools and extracurriculars and things like that being decreased more and more over the years. And this is just a prime example. Like, those things are really important because it creates the artists that you grow to know and love. Fully like fix it.
If I could just add to that, because I think the biggest shocker for me was when I really like started to do community work out here, and I saw how much after school activities was not prioritized. Like, the vast differences in Jersey and like Philadelphia and Pennsylvania are actually insane. I think, my hope for the school system, like even with the changes we see, is that more attention can go to it, because it's a fact that playing an instrument as a kid, like having that in your educational like curriculum and some point in your development, helps the students, helps the kids. It does help with the other courses, the other classes. That's a proven fact, knowing an instrument. So I really hope that there's much needed like change for, the youth to be able to express themselves and like have opportunities to express themselves. Like drama club, and I played golf in elementary school, and like people are just like, that what? It shouldn't be a what thing. It should be, we have many options for kids, and they can go and choose what they like, and maybe that becomes their career.
Right. That diversity in things that you're able to do and be introduced to is very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so if you had to pick, do you have a favorite? I think you did say that you did, but I want to ask to be clear. Do you have a favorite instrument?
Now it's the alto sax. But I think when I started playing it, it wasn't. Like, I feel like I originally, and if my music teacher ever sees this, he'll probably laugh, because I really didn't want to like switch instruments. Like, I knew it could benefit me, but I just didn't want to. And I think once I did, like, and I actually started playing, and like jazz in itself is just so thorough. Like, I feel like jazz musicians, like, they're always learning, they're always like, it's just a long-term thing, so I don't feel like you could ever stop. Like, jazz is just so complex. So I think I was so nervous to get into that area, because it's just, I look at the greats and I'm like, I don't know if I could do that. So I just was always kind of just not sure. And I think, I don't know, I just feel like my music teacher, I hate to say it was him, but I feel like it was him. Like, I feel like he just kept me motivated. And when I joined a jazz band at 17, like, I was playing like in real places. Like, I don't know, I was playing in front of like, I was at restaurants in Atlantic City. Like, I was like, he was putting me out there. Like, this is real. So I feel like I had no choice. Like, I was either embarrass yourself or like figure this out.
Ooh, and a lot of so important, like, to really have those moments, because like, we're not playing no more. Like, you have to step up to the challenge, and 9 times out of 10 you will. Like, don't be afraid of yourself.
Yeah, because once you get out of your shell, and no matter what it is, like, I know we're just talking about music, but I used to love to write and like things like that. Like, whatever it is, like going to public speaking, I think it's just, once you break that, once you break it, like once you actually do it, I think it always gets better in a sense.
I feel that. And you made me think about working with you. You got me a job at a place you used to work at. I don't want to like say the name, but I was so anxious about the job was advocacy for the environment, and the role was calling people in political places and advocating for the environment, and it was just so nerve-wracking making those phone calls.
Yeah.
And I actually quit, but
to be fair, you were great.
Oh, thank you.
To be fair, you were great, but I think I quit a lot of jobs. I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not perfect.
It wasn't for me, but I'm talking to people now, so it didn't.
What's not for you is not meant for you. I think that is. I feel like that's what we owe ourselves as young people. I feel like we owe ourselves to be okay, this is not working. Let me look. Oh, I have an opportunity here. Okay, let me take this. I think that's what it's about, and I don't feel we should ever feel like we're forced to do anything. So whether or not I help and support my friends and they this not for me, I'm cool, we're gonna get you out of here and we're gonna find something else for you. That's
the support is always so real.
Right.
I want to go back to what you said about writing. Now, you hinted at before the interview that you used to write a lot in terms of poetry and music. So what was that like for you? When did you start writing?
I wrote my first song at 11. I still remember, and it's so sad because I feel like I just had people that were this is not realistic. And I think once you try to get into, it don't matter who you are, when you try to get into the music, art, is always going to be somebody that's this is not realistic. You need a backup.
Even if it's not in a direct way, too. Sometimes it'll just be projections. But it's I know what you're saying.
I was, and it sucks because it's I threw away all these songs, but I still to this day remember my first song. I wrote it at 11. I was a big reader. I think about preteens and under 12, that 8 to 12 range. I feel like my sister, not to throw her on the spot, but she's more of the gamer. She's more of the tech person. My parents will buy her some stuff that she didn't use. Me, I'm I want a doll, I want a book, I want a notebook, I want a pen. I didn't need much as a kid, so my parents was cool, and I would sit in my room, read, write, and it just was something I really enjoyed doing. And I feel like I was that drama club girl. I wanted, Disney Channel, all of that. Yes. Raven-Symoné was that was who I am. I was I'm gonna be Raven-Symoné.
Listen, me and my cousins used to fight over who was Raven from the Cheetah Girls.
Yes, you know what I mean. And she was my favorite Cheetah Girl. Okay,
absolutely.
But I think just several, it was just in me. I just loved expressing myself in that way, and I think I was so introverted, so that was the way that I better expressed myself, is through writing. But it's unfortunate. I threw out a lot. You know what I mean?
It makes me sad.
Yeah, but I still remember a lot of it. But now I think music is more of my way of expressing myself. But I'm so connected with so many poets, so I don't know.
The art wasn't lost.
Yeah, I always want to be connected with y'all because it's I feel like you guys are my push to stay connected, be more expressive, journaling. It's just all of that's so important. I had a diary. I think all of that is just so important.
Absolutely. Where do you stand with writing now? Is it something that you would dive back into? When we see yes, so we got a song or a poem from Amani coming soon. Eventually, maybe.
I think that people like you, I feel like you don't have anybody telling you to do this. You actually set out and do it, and you put your time and investment and energy into it. And I think that's what I need to start doing more with writing. It's just put more time into it. Really sit down. I feel like I never am able to get that consistency that I want. But yes.
And you are a very in tune person, so I know you'll know when it's time.
Yeah. So thankfully I have individuals like you. But I mean, shout out, not to be putting people throwing people's names in, but shout out to Sheen Anthony.
Oh yeah, shout him out because we love Sheen.
I was in a very, 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 very difficult spot years ago, and he would send me these motivational messages or affirmations, and some of them he would send me I would cry. He would. I would legit be going through something earlier that morning. He sent me a message at the perfect time, and it's just what I needed, and I'm I appreciate that. All the people telling me, no, you need to do this, do that. I appreciate that so much because it's I'm somebody that needs to hear it.
Yeah. Shane, shout out to you.
Shout out to Shane. He always come up and everything. Just there's no way around it.
I'm about to start throwing a Sheen count at the
right. Yeah, he gonna get mentioned again. Like
That's so much love.
yeah.
Okay, so I want to dive a little bit deeper into what is your experience like as a Black woman, as a saxophonist, playing in a band, going to different, venues and sharing your artistry. Like, what is that like for you?
Yeah. I just think like, cause in college, like my 4 years of college, I really didn't play the sax, which like I had to tell people that, cause like when they ask me how long I've been playing, I don't really like to include those years because I really wasn't tapped in. So it really was like
So
after
wait,
20.
when did you start again?
I started 2016, like for college, you mean, or the instrument?
For the clarinet, because it's like
Oh,
you
sorry.
started and then you took a break for the 4 years and then you started back up. Is that how it went?
Yeah, like clarinet was my first instrument. I actually learned the sax at 17.
Okay.
So I've been playing the clarinet since I was 9. So a very long time, like basically my whole life. And the sax I learned at 17, like in high school.
Okay.
But college, once I went to college, I did not play at all. Like so 2016 to 2020, I really didn't play
Was
too
that
much.
so you could like focus on academics? Was it an emotional thing? Wow.
Yeah, like I was in the Army Reserve. Like I think when I got out of like high school, like I thought I had it all together, and I absolutely had no idea what I was doing. So like I couldn't focus on the music. It just wasn't. It just was so much other stuff going on. So as much as like I wanted to go to HBCU and be in a marching band, that was my actual like.
Wow.
That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be at like Howard or something like. So it just, but things change and everybody has their journey and their timing. So I didn't play that time, but after I started doing videos on Instagram and I started doing this Monty Melodies series, which is how like Monty Melodies came about.
Is that still available?
Yeah, it's on my Instagram.
Go check that out because I am.
And there are videos from like 2021, and it's just me like playing random rooms, like I was at my best friend's house, just playing like just playing, and then like that's when the band met me through that kind of like everything just kind of like fell into place.
I love that you documented it because that's like the origin story.
I'm glad to.
It's out there.
I'm glad to. I did something right because I don't ever like I struggle with recording myself and like doing that. You know, there's like so many good, like, especially Black female saxophonists. Like, there's some really dope women out here. And when I go on Instagram and I see these videos, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, they don't have to do much. Like, it'll be a background like this, but it's just the attention's on them. And I'm like, I could do this, but it's just doing it.
I should have told you to bring your.
That would have been a great idea. I don't know why I wasn't thinking that either.
All right, it's okay. We're gonna do another
next time.
Next time.
Yeah,
y'all heard that.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do we go from here?
I was gonna say because that was a lot, but I just feel like where I'm at now, best place. Like music, life. I feel like I'm in full control, and I don't know. I have more confidence.
I love to hear that.
You know what I mean?
So happy.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy. Like seeing people at their best, and also the fact that you shared your journey of like building up into that point is very amazing. So people can look on that and reflect. And if you have a similar dream, you know that it's possible.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't feel like people understand. Like I really put a lot of internal like I just did a lot of internal work there. And I think even with the band, like I feel like when I came out with the band, like people didn't realize going to rehearsals, like I'm in a band that they can play, like learn, and we learn it on the spot versus I'm used to having sheet music, being with 30 plus other people playing. So I was in a different type of like environment and setting, learning music, trying to learn all new songs, trying to learn things on the spot. So it was a lot of pressure. Like my first show with the band was Upper Darby Pride Parade at Upper Darby High School in front of hundreds of people. Like it just
the pressure.
You know what I mean? And so I just had to. They helped a lot. I feel like my friends and my bandmates and like my family, like I feel like everyone really helped me with that confidence. Even though people look at me and they're like, you got it all together. And it's like, you guys have no idea.
Okay, so I have two questions now.
Yeah.
Which one comes more naturally to you, playing with the sheet music or just doing it, like learning something on the spot without the music?
Yeah, I think now it's more on the spot.
Okay.
Because especially when I think about jazz, and especially when I think about like improv, which is just you being able to play what you feel. Like a lot of that I never really knew how to ever do until I started playing the sax. So now I feel like I never thought like a music could come on and I could just play. And now I'm like, I can figure out the scales or figure out figure out things on the spot and play. And I think it helps like in my creativity too. It helps in like my development as an artist too, because I'm able to just do more. Like I just think being put on the spot stuff, it helps. Like
it kind of allows you to let the creativity flow through you.
Yeah. But I like for my job, like I met musicians at my job and now they're sheet music type of people. Mm-hmm. So now I'm back to reading sheet music and I'm like, dang.
It's the versatility for me.
Things like that you can forget. Like that's why I say people learn an instrument, all that, like you have to continue that because I'm over here struggling to remember to read sheet music and what this means and what this means. And that's sad because that was like, you know what I mean? But
how you started.
Mm-hmm.
But it's natural, you know.
Yeah, to forget. Yeah, it really is. So.
Okay. And then the second thing I wanted to ask you, how important, which you kind of spoke on, but if you could dive a little bit deeper, how important is community on your journey?
Oh yeah, it's really like I feel like my whole reason for even being in the environmental field is due to like my call for stewardship, which I really feel like is God's calling for me is to be a steward, which can be done in many different ways. But for me, it's just like protecting our planet, protecting our people, health and safety, well-being, you know. And I think the environment is housing. It's it's women, Black women. Mm-hmm. It's maternity issues. It's parks and recreation. It's homes. Like it's a lot of things interconnected, and I feel like food. All of that. Thank you. How I forget food? Yes,
the list is so
you know
long,
what I mean. Yeah, no, but food probably should have been right at the top. But yes, like so many things that are in this circle of like injustices, and like I feel like stewardship is like my calling to just like find solutions or at least bring people to awareness. A lot of times, educate people, provide the right connections. I think like many things. Like I think because I grew up in church, so I think it was bound to happen in a sense. But I think like when I went to Ghana at 15, and met my family and like learn more about the history and like learn more about the culture and the way of living, everything's different. I feel like that was really like me saying like I want to do something in the environment. Like I don't know what it is I don't know what it's gonna be, but I know I want to do something. I don't know if I want to be a farmer or what it is, but I knew I wanted to do it. And then I just feel like many people probably experience what I did, which is like there's a lot of influence on what we should do as like young adults. I feel like
attention, that's like the most valuable thing, and everybody is fighting for your attention.
Yeah, and I just feel like it was hard for me to figure out what I wanted to do because it just was so many people in my ear. So I had people was pushing for me to be an engineer.
Like what? Computer engineer?
No, environmental engineering.
Okay, it's still in the environment.
Like as somebody that went to school and like learned about all those, like it's a lot. Like it's not for the weak.
At all. I majored in computer science for like one semester.
I don't even know how you did one semester. I honestly, I could have I literally could have never done it. Like
I was so stressed.
Like it's really for those type of people. I feel like you have to have that passion.
Exactly.
Like, you know what I mean? For me, I was like, I don't want to do any science. Like any science, any engineering. I just want to do advocacy, community, and I didn't know that until I didn't initially know that when I got to Temple University. Like I was in the business school. Like I I really didn't know what I was doing.
I feel like our journey is a little similar in that way, because I also started out in computer science, and then I switched to psychology, which is like a more human, people oriented type of thing.
Yeah, I cannot imagine you in computer science. I'm like, what?
Child,
I cannot imagine.
You probably wouldn't recognize me. I was a
no, because it really no, seriously, and I feel like your energy on campus and like everything is affected with what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? If you're not happy, like I feel like it really shows. Like I had my first year was like I hated it. Like I just didn't enjoy it at all. So,
what was it like transitioning into something that you did prefer to do? Did you have support in that aspect, or was it something that you kind of did on your own?
I did it on my own for the most part, but I think I just worked with the academic advisor for the most part, just to make sure my credits and stuff were good. But I just knew, like, there was so many things I just thought I wanted to do. That's why I'm like, if I ever have kids, like, and they're like, Mom, I want to do this, and the next day they're like, Mom, I want to do that, I'm gonna be like, yes. Okay, we're doing this today. Okay, cool, because that was me. I'm like, I can't judge them because like this is what I did.
Right, and without you putting 100% in each one, you wouldn't be where you are right now.
Exactly. So you got to let people learn. And I did a year in a legal studies major. I thought I was going to be a lawyer. Like I thought I was going to be Olivia Pope. Okay, I thought I really did. I really did think I was going to be a lawyer, but God had a different plan for me, and also I don't want to go to law school. So like I'm honestly done with school with my bachelor's, but
I feel the same way. Like
it's gonna take a lot of convincing.
I'm like, sometimes I tiptoe back and forth, like maybe I'll go back, but it's like I don't know.
Yeah, so I think everybody has their past, and everybody just has to. It's not gonna be perfect. It might not be fun, but eventually it gets there. And I know I didn't fully. I know your answer about community, I didn't fully answer, but yeah, like I want to also shout out State Rep Donna Bullock, because working for a state rep, I feel like then I actually had like a smack in the face of like, this is what's going on in Philadelphia, like everything, like because state representative, they're handling a lot of different issues, like we said, from housing, environment, vacant lots, the dumping, like there's just a lot of things, like people coming into the office, and I'm like learning completely new issues and trying to figure it out. So I think it was like, we need more support. Like community needs more. Yeah. Like there just needs more attention, more empathy, more resources, more support. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. That you answered the question perfectly. I have a couple more questions. I feel like we'll need a part 2. This was such a good conversation.
You're a great interviewer, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
I'm super comfortable.
Thank you so much. I love to hear that.
Yeah.
Was there? Wait. Okay, I got a few more. So, do you have a favorite creation or project so far?
Yes, I'm gonna say FloFi. My first song. It's like I don't want to get emotional, but it's like I had no idea like what my first song was gonna do. Like I had to laugh because it's like my whole thing for making music and stuff, like I was really inspired by my bandmates who are making music, and I was just like, I just feel like it's something I've always wanted to do. I just never did it, and I'm like, I love lo-fi music and just like that type of vibe. So I'm like, let me put out my own stuff, and I met Cozy Lotus Studios, Dave, who's worked with most of the bands, so shout out to Dave. But I came up with the melody randomly. Like Dave helped me come up with the beat, and then when I got to the studio, like a lot of what I did was on the spot. Like there's a lot on the spot. But FloFi, like Spotify wise, I mean we surpassed 100K.
Okay.
So I mean, when I think about like my potential, I'm like, this is something. Like I mean, and like I actually have distribution like for that song. Like there's a lot of things that I saw like I have potential for with that song, and I feel like that is my best song. Like I feel like that song gave me the most exposure. Like my friends be playing it at their jobs, like coffee shops and stuff, and I'm like, it just means so much. Because it's just everything is just so unexpected with that song. And I'm like, this could really be like that song. Like I'm still to this day trying to push FloFi because I'm like,
just the energy that you have talking about it. Like I can feel that that's your baby. Like,
yeah, I'll never forget like when I finished at the studio and I heard the song and I was like, oh my God, like what? I played it like 100 times that night. I was like, I can't believe this. So it just, yeah.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure y'all go tap into FloFi. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, and that leads into the next question. Do you have what other projects should we be looking to support right now? How can we support you?
Mm-hmm.
And anything that you want to plug or promote?
Yeah. I know we didn't talk about Hope and Cope, but Hope and Cope is I'm officially president for an organization that is created by Sister Marianne Cole and Pastor Lola Blount, and it was serving as healing, mental health, educational resources and events for senior citizens in our community. And we meet every first Sunday at the Terrace at Chestnut Hill, where we provide music. I'll play the saxophone. We'll do poetry. We'll do some studying. We have prompts. We've had some guests recently, and I'd love to have Maya one day as well. But that's all through donations. Like it's a donation-based organization. We had I hosted a fundraiser. I have nature and poetry events, which you can find on my page. But we had a fundraiser. We're really trying to raise funds to expand it to other homes and also schools. You know, I feel like Pastor. Anytime, a lot of times they'll ask me like, why did you care so much about this, and like why do you have so much passion? And I think it just goes back to like stewardship and just all the things that I like to do, the things that I love to do, and just it's important as well. I think that 55 plus, like they're ignored with a lot of things. That's and true. When I think about a lot of the work that I did community wise, I always tried to make sure I had stuff for them, whether it was specifically for them or okay, let me make sure what I'm doing is accessible to them. Let me make sure they can get there. Like things like that people take for granted. So I think I'm really glad we're really expanding the program, and hopefully, we'll be in more places. But looking forward to continuing that. And I hope that I have some more music next year.
Absolutely.
But independent, like the whole thing, like paying for my own studio sessions, paying for my own beats, paying for I'm at a point right now where I can't do it because now I have a car. So I think financial stability and balancing is like a 2025 goal because I'd love to get back in the studio, but I don't feel like we should break our budget to make our music.
Absolutely. That makes sense. Okay. So with that being said, make sure y'all go support what's out now. Make sure y'all run those numbers up. Make sure y'all stay tuned and with everything that she has going on. We love nature and poetry. That event in that space has come to mean a lot to me. Like
you were at the first one.
Yes. And I feel like I was at every one except for one, maybe.
I was like people in the room was like the OGs, like with the event. Like they, people be like it's me, but it really wasn't. It was a collective because you really supported me from like the beginning.
Absolutely.
Like literally.
And it's not gonna change.
Day one.
So shout out to you. All that you are, all that you do. So likewise. Such a beautiful person. I forgot to ask my question that I asked everybody, which is, what do you feel is our responsibility to the youth?
I feel like that's deep because that's so like we all have a responsibility. I think we are the future, like us right now, like this, our generation, this early 20s, but the youth, that's the future. Like I feel like we were the future. Now we're not the future. We need to get ourselves together and be like to take over. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we ain't got no time. But the youth, there's still time. The youth is like it's all about direction. It's all about education. Like there's so many things. Like I was telling my dad the other day. I said I remember in elementary school going to the voting like booths with you. as a kid. Like, it wasn't something you forced me to do. Like, it's something I enjoyed, just going up there with you, just like feeling like I was a part of something. Like, you kind of helped, like, and that's just an example, of course. I have no problem with whoever people feel about voting. Like, just an example, like little things like that, I feel like showed me the importance, like, of,
I mean, being alone, like, for the experience, it means a lot.
Yeah, and I think the youth is all about, like, what there is exposure. And I think when we think about, like, extracurricular, like, I think that is such a great way to expose you to more things. I think what we can do is, like, be direction and correction, even when we see things wrong, when we have opportunities to inspire and, like, advise and mentor. Like, I feel like we should do that. Finding more ways to, like, advocate and support for youth, like, activities as a whole, whether with school or without school. Workforce development, and like, youth being able to understand that you do not have to just go to college. Like, it's 2024. That's not the reality. Like, there's trades. You know what I mean? And I really don't know if Philadelphia has high schools like that, but, like, I maybe, but, like, I went to high school, like, and we had, like, HVAC in my high school. We had electricians. We had mechanics. High schoolers learning mechanic. Like, we need more of that.
Yeah,
we really do, because a lot of those kids didn't go to college, and they went right to their trade, and they are making. These are the kids with the homes. These are the kids with the cars. These are the kids. You know what I mean? These are the kids that don't have no education, and they're making money. And we need those jobs. So I think it's all about what we're putting out to the youth, like how because they take and soak in everything. That's what we did.
Right.
We took and soaked in everything. So it's like the good and the bad, you know. And I think we can't, we can't get rid of all the bad, but we could at least bring some good into their life.
Right. Highlight the good.
You know, and the youth, like, I feel like people just brush them away. We don't want to bother with them. And it's sad. Dismissive. Yeah, because I hate that we put all youth in one box. Like, I went to a high school, environmental science high school, that I didn't even know existed in Philadelphia. There's an environmental science high school in Philadelphia. And these high schoolers was going to Princeton. These high schoolers were going to Howard University. These high schoolers were all from Philly, going to these big schools. And I'm like, what do you guys like to do? Oh, we want to be in nature. We want to be farming. We want to do this. And they were able to learn that's their passion through the school and through the programs that it has. So I really do believe we need more of that.
That's so important.
Workforce development, I'm all for, because that's, like, we can't at this time of age, we can't give youth opportunities with no money or no stipend, no benefits. Right. It's just not the reality of the situation.
It's like, it's a setup. Okay.
We're not gonna do anything for free, so why should we expect the youth to? Especially when they're already struggling, they're trying to make a way for themselves. Right. So we're not looking at that. So I think, I feel like workforce development and pushing that is key, and that's what I try to do a lot. If it's not, it's like speaking to youth, it's like, hey, you want to make $15 an hour this summer? You know what I mean? Those things, that's what they need. And on top of that, you're learning real skills.
That is so important. Make sure y'all run that part back, okay?
I'm gonna just name some groups. Philadelphia Outward Bound Schools is a great program, and also just connect with me, because I know Pico. Like, my job, I'm so thankful for my job and working for the state, because I feel like I'm able to be in more, like, large scale, like, things. Like, I feel like I'm this little person in these, like, large scale. I'm with these CEOs and stuff, and I'm like,
you got the juice.
I don't feel like I'm nobody, but at least I'm like, hey, like, let me get some resources. Let me get some stuff from y'all to take back with me, because y'all are not in the community.
Absolutely.
But I am. No shade.
Yes, bring it on back to the village.
Because you can't just keep the information. You got to get it out to them. So
this was such an amazing conversation. So y'all know Amani is a resource. Reach out to her, connect with her.
Thank you.
Thank you for sitting down with me.
This was so nice.
So was there anything else that you wanted to share that I didn't ask?
Thank you for what you do. And, I said it before we started, but, I use your journals. your candles, your pens, all of it. And I think I'm really grateful for you just inviting me because I really don't have opportunities to do stuff like this. And sometimes I learn like new things about myself just from the conversation. So I'm very grateful.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. I feel accomplished.
Thank you. Yeah.
All right. With that, we are signing off. Peace, y'all.
Peace.